Hello, good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. Riding solo this morning, as it seems. Huddie and Kyle are either still asleep or not around right now, but the show must go on. It is the 8th day of July, year of our Lord 2024. We got a couple gappers to talk about. This is our pre-market show here over at the Clover Trading YouTube channel, where we talk every single morning, Monday through Friday, 8:45 a.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and 9:15 a.m. on Wednesdays for a little bit of live trading. We talk about the biggest gappers of the day, how we feel small cap is moving right now, the temperature of the market, as well as some fundamental catalyst, dilution, daily chart, support, resistance, all that stuff. Let you guys know what we are looking at when we pull up these charts for the first time. Welcome in. We have Austin, Joseph, Mash for Fun, Wayne, Eric Incy. Good morning, sir. Hope everything is good. But it is Monday here, another week in July. Hope everyone had a great week last week, great weekend. I heard fireworks going pretty much from Wednesday until Saturday night. So that was really cool. A little break from the market. It was kind of a relaxing weekend for me after a fun day on Thursday. But the market is back. We have a full week of action coming this week, and we're going to try to prepare you for it right now. Got a few gappers on the list. Got a low price gapper, a low floaty gapper. Talk about all those, and if Huddie or Kyle pops in, I'll make sure to let them in and let you guys know what they are thinking this morning. But I had a lot on the watch list over the weekend, so there definitely are charts in play. So going into this week, after kind of having a fragmented week last week where we had a half day Wednesday, no trading on Thursday, and then Friday a full day, just like to come back to normal here. 5 full days of action. For all you 3 and 4 at least, we'll have webinars coming at you this week as well. So be on the lookout for that schedule. And I say we just get into it. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Helps us all out. It's free. It's fun. We're on a mission to get more subscribers. We post long-form content every Monday. And like I said, we're live every day the market's open. So notification bell could be useful for you here, just so you never miss when we are live. Make sure, as always, you hit the like button. Hit that thumbs up button. We try to get it to 50 every single day, depending on how many viewers we have. I will allow for lower if there's less people watching. But really just think, have I hit that like button yet? And if I haven't, get that number up a little bit. Alrighty. First gapper of the day is IVP, which is one that I don't know if we talked about as a gapper the other day because I think it just was a runner. But it is popping up this morning after a move on what would have been Wednesday half day. 920K float here. You can see under a million, 2.8 mil market cap. Personal services industry, veterinary partners. Inspire Veterinary Partners is the name of the company. High across the board when it comes to overall risk for dilution. They announced earnings a month ago, so I don't remember the news. What date would this have been? 7/3. That's effectiveness. Me going through filings is never a good sign. Okay, something happened with an effect, probably from S1 on Wednesday, and then kind of took a rest day on Friday. We'll get to the chart here in a second. Let's go through and see if there is. So they had a reverse split recently in May that reduced the authorized shares to 1 million. They'll be increased to 100 mil 20 days after the mailing of the proxy statement. Action was approved without shareholder vote. They have negative 3 months of cash left. They have a June 2024 offering in progress. Not registered. And an equity line. Taking a look at the daily chart here for IVP Inspire Veterinary Partners. Kind of an interesting look. We talk a lot about structure. A lot of the charts that we pull up that are gappers on day one don't really have any resistance behind us to play off of. A lot are, either fresh and weird or not necessarily perfectly top left to bottom right. But here we do have that top left to bottom right action. Further back I go, you see it just gets higher and higher, and we start to lose that volume interest from a few years ago. Looks like 2023 is when they got going. Been pretty much straight down since then. At least one reverse split has taken place. And then it's just about identifying areas of volume, reminding myself this is a 900K float, so it is going to be thin and quite the volatile mover. Even if it doesn't go too much in one direction, it still could be quite quick. You have some resistance up here in the mid fives, low to mid fives, topping out at 530 from back in May. And then all this, I guess, would be post-split. Since the split, it's kind of faded, and then we have that Wednesday topped out at 311. Let's see, I think that was just like a parabolic spike. Yeah, so it kind of came out of nowhere at the open, spike from the ones all the way up to 311. Had a little move on Friday, kind of in the middle of the day, just kind of paired off its lows into the twos before pulling back, and is now gapping up into that 311 resistance. That is the area on the chart. That's where I would draw my line that matters here this morning, and then maybe this level here in the 230 area. This top on decent volume already looks like it's going to do more volume than, let's see if it's ever. Yeah, probably going to do more volume this morning just based off its pre-market volume. We're almost at what it did on that parabolic move on Wednesday. So it looks like it's going to do at least 30, 40, 50 million shares today, depending on how interested, how much attention it gets this morning. But that 311 area is an interesting area where you could call it a multi-day breakout over that 311 spot. The issue I have is that it's up 91% right now at 285. And so that means it would be up basically 100% at that breakout level, which is not my favorite because I do like to try to find better entry spots on multi-day breakouts. So I'm not buying straight up moves into the breakout level. With this being such a low float, maybe that doesn't matter just as much because, you know, being a recent reverse split and there being some room to run, I don't think it'd be crazy for a 900K float to see this at 4 or 5 and that just be an average move, even if it is 150, 200% up on the day. As far as the gap and crap perspective, you probably have the same line on your chart, which is that 311 area. If that area fails and a 90 to 100% move into that level doesn't muster up a lot of attention and volume and doesn't push after holding that area, you could see a very similar action that we saw on Wednesday and on Friday, which is the stock's behavior on this type of volume tends to be that it spikes and then fails quite hard. After that parabolic move Wednesday, we retraced pretty much the entire move by end of day, and the same can be said from Friday, where we spike from the 140s to the 2s and come all the way back down to the 140s. So kind of just watching this one out of the gate to see if it has any staying power or if it just kind of rejects the $3 area, maybe spikes a little bit past it, maybe these pre-market highs, and then fades off like a good gap and crapper, or sets up potentially, you know, early morning, mid morning for a breakout over that area, and then we have a pretty low float runner in small cap land. Those are my thoughts on IVP. Let's see what's next. Next gap for the day is a cheapie up 112% SVMH. Sarivaru Holdings. The chart for my own reference. I think we talked about this one recently. No low price gapper out of India, 9.4 million float. It's the parent company of Sarivaru Motor Private. E-motorbikes in India, so kind of fits that theme. ZAPP is another gapper, electric vehicle. Tesla's been on, obviously, a pretty big run over the past week or so. So you've seen a lot of these electric vehicle companies pop out. We saw VVPR last week as well, gap big on some sort of news with their electric vehicles. So that trend is, I would say, moderately warm right now. I don't think I saw Tesla up this morning. I think it was red when I checked. So we'll see if that just kind of starts to bleed down into the small caps and we start to see more PRs like that. Like I said, Zap, another one on day 4 now, just gapping up every single day. Let's see, 30 minutes ago, they deployed an advanced AI platform to manage lead generation platform for Prana 2.0 electric motorcycle. Okay, I think we talked about this one sometime in the last few months. because I think we looked this up online to see how much they cost and what their website was like. But this is Sarivaru. They are, if I can click this, overall risk across the board is pretty low. They have 77.8 months of cash left. Looks like they are a D-SPAC. And that's all that we have there. So news is pretty much just bleh. 24 days ago, June 16th, they were able to start ordering. You were able to start ordering their Prana 2.0 electric bike. Let's see the chart again. So we have this move on 614. Gaps from the 15s goes as high as 45. Probably was running in some sort of sympathy to any of the low price runners. We had KIT, we had OPTT. I think OPTT was probably after this. But a lot of low price gappers these days we've had, and some have done better than others. SVMH did have a decent spike to the 46s before pulling all the way back and then fading off over the coming weeks, gapping back into that range right now on pretty low volume. Not, obviously more volume than any other consolidation or fading day since the big move, since the big gap. But at this point, does it need to be 200, 300, 400 mil if it doesn't continue into the open? But up 115% right now, pretty much straight up from 8:30, so about 31 minutes into the day right now, still making higher lows and pushing new highs. Resistance that matters here is probably the overhead's resistance at 46 cents from that move back in June, which would kind of make it really unideal for a long bias. I think maybe it spikes into that area, but predicting that it's already up 115% on a history of stock that doesn't tend to hold up too well. So I'm not really interested in a 30-cent stock for a gap and crap. Really not interested in this one long because of the overhead resistance. It's not like IV people were opening right at that resistance. And, in this case, this one would probably be more like 150 to 170% up on the day if it got up to that resistance, which would already warrant a pretty big move from 15 to 45 all in, 1 hour because the news came out at 8:30. So really nothing for me here, just identifying the levels. That's really the only key resistance on the chart on decent volume. You have some tops here at 30 to 35 cents as well. But this is more of just a watch and see what happens. There's plenty of other stocks out there for me. So Sarivaru Holdings, just going to leave alone and see if it can muster up any more low-priced momentum, or if it just kind of runs into all these bag holders. You got to be thinking anyone who was buying, getting too aggressive in the high 20s, 30s, up even into the 40s on day one there, has probably been looking for some high volume day or some gap to get out into for a smaller loss, break even, or small win. And I'll kind of see where this one opens. We still have 27 minutes till the open. So, I just think this is a bag holder chart, spiking right into that resistance, spiking too far into that resistance to be identified as a breakout, really. And probably just going to leave this one alone and do the price range. Not really one that I'm interested in shorting as well. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. What's up, William? Good morning. Good morning. Make sure. Wow, you guys are already at 49 likes. You just must like it when there's no Huddie and no Kyle. Look at that. 50 likes this morning. Congratulations. That's a good start to the week. I think that's a good blessing for all of us. Good karma does find its way back around. So appreciate the likes. Appreciate the viewership this morning. Let's see. I'll read some comments from you. Then we'll talk about some other bleh gappers on the day. Haven't really had too many days in the past few weeks where we've had multiple 100% gappers or any crazy movers in pre-market. From what I've seen, gap and craps have worked pretty nicely. You've had a lot of faders, ones that haven't spiked all that much before fading and then actually making new lows throughout the day versus what we've seen. I feel like a lot of is they kind of pull back in the morning, then squeeze out in the afternoon, and there's not that much to be not much meat to be had. But we haven't really had a ton of big gappers. We've had good movers, good runners, some sector play, but still waiting for that stretch where that cycle that comes back where, I guess we have 200% gappers today. Both of the ones we talked about are up 100%. They're just different styles. William says, Dom, just watched your Hot Wing interview with the wife yesterday. Ella, she said, I bet he is a good teacher, easy to understand. Well, you can be the a judge of that, and I hope I am. Jenica says, are you guys still watching Malgo? MLGO X China Pump has been around my watch list the last couple days for a potential bounce, but it does feel like it's just insanely weak. And once we start to get to 3, 4, 5 red days in a row following the big move, I tend to get less interested just because I think other people have probably got less interested. This one in general has had a few, if not every single morning besides this morning, has made an attempt at going green. And a big thing that I like to see when it comes to the first green day, you can even see it on MLGO here, back on this run where we go from $1 something to 15. Each day here is red, and it's only 3 red days. And then the first time it goes green, we have a significant spike here from the 4s into the 6s. And here you just have kind of a choppy mess on the backside. It is fading off nicely, but we've kind of hit the stretch where I think enough people have probably tried. Every spike is met horrifically with selling pressure and then new lows. And, you know, for me, just being an ex-China scam on its like 75th run following that, I'm okay at this point to leave it alone. I don't think I tried it at all on this backside, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it either bounces or it doesn't, but at this point, if it does, it will be without me. AM Die says, why are more people doing futures and forex? They don't know. No clue. No clue how to answer that question. I don't really understand them or have ever looked into them. I've always kind of found stocks first, and I like stocks. It makes sense to me. I found an edge here, and that's where I will stay. Okay, let's see if there's any other gappers going on this morning. Any other questions you guys have, get them in there in the Clover Trading YouTube chat. Sipping out of my Jolly mug this morning. There's never a better time for Christmas than all year round. That's what I think anyway. So Zap is the other kind of gapper on the day. Was on my watch list for a potential short going forward. Pretty insane move, kind of off of, I think, one of the first days that Tesla really started to break out over 200 and actually get some momentum. This came right off its lows in the 190s. It took 3 days before breaking out over the 380 area. Resistance 385 has kind of had this trend of strong mornings or strong periods followed by pretty intense fade, and once kind of the momentum's gone and the volume's gone, it fades off. But it has continued to stay green every day, continue to make higher lows, gapping again this morning. Let's take a look and see if there was any news on it. No, I don't see any. I don't see any filings. So yeah, this is just kind of one that's out of range in terms of a long for me. I'm not someone that's just trying to find the momentum and react to the price action on any given day. Really looking for big daily chart bias. And this one, the big breakout over 380 kind of happened in an ugly fashion. And it's just kind of been running in the form of gaps and morning spikes. So, and that's not some sort of behavior trait that I'm going to take into today on day 4. So at this point, rooting for it to go as high as possible, up 70% this morning. The higher, the better for potential short down the road. But at this point, it does look like we have a trigger in the form of green-red, because this stock has now not been red since 7/2. So basically all of July, this stock has been green. And really nothing for me to do with it today. You could probably think about trading it like an overextended gap up 70%. That's not a play I specialize in too much. That's more of a Kyle play. If he's here, we could ask him about that. But when there is such a good trigger for this one in terms of green red, I think I'd rather just prefer and wait for that, because now the higher we go, there is more range to the downside. We're separating ourselves a lot from this 380 area, and so don't really want to step in front of anything either if this finally does break its trend and want to go on longer than just a 1.5 hour run and hold up and run all day and maybe get one more big gap as well. So nothing to do with it for me there, but is high on the priority list to just keep an eye on for potential future play, which is, primarily what we are doing as traders and what I do as being a daily chart trader who's really just trying to hone in and focus on the charts that are in play, former runners, stocks that are running into resistance or getting overextended, or stocks that are holding up near highs for potential breakouts. Just keeping stocks on watch doesn't mean I always have to do something with them or click buttons on them today. I can identify ZAPP as a potential play going forward, but I don't need to force myself to get involved today, or just short because it's extended, or buy because it spikes every morning. That's just not the way I trade. That's not consistent trading for me. I don't think consistent for a lot of people unless you're very talented and have seen many, many, many charts play out. So for me, the best thing to do is just sit back and wait for it to come into my wheelhouse. Gustavo says, in your experience, do most stocks run right before being delisted? DYNT is going to be delisted tomorrow. Spike 63% earlier today, was giving back the move now. That's not something I'd be willing to say with any sort of confidence. It's up 17% on the day. I think more often than not, you see stocks fade into getting delisted, and then I don't even know what percentage I say. I have seen stocks once they've got delisted and they've either had the Q on the end or they've gone to the OTC market where they've had significant runs. I think about the Silicon Valley one that went on a good run, maybe YELL, YELL. There's definitely examples of stocks that have been delisted and then gone on big runs. But I wouldn't be able to say anything with experience, with confidence. I think the best way if you wanted to look into that for a potential edge would just be to backtest. Go through and find 50 examples over the past 5 years that have been delisted, and what did they look like going into that delisting date and following the delisting date. That's the only way to do it. And since I haven't done that data, I can't answer that question. 62 likes. You guys are the freaking best. Everyone who liked that video will have good luck in the future. I can't promise that, but that's what I read out of a Marcus Aurelius book. Parker says, OPTT, KTRA, top watch for me this week. Although I wish OPTT for screen day didn't happen pre-market. Did it happen pre-market? Only up 11% right now. Let me get you guys to a chart. I had this one on watch as well. I was kind of hoping for lower. When you have these lower price breakouts, percentage-wise, this is like a 100% move from the breakout, but it's not crazy. Like a lot of we just talked about MLGO for screen day was a stock that ran from the 1s to 15. There's a lot more meat on that bone, a lot more range, a lot more potential to make money risking if you can find good areas of risk with these ones, and especially in lower price land. The more we can pull from the highs, the better, because that just makes the trade better, because obviously these are cheap stocks. You can get more shares. If you can risk a penny, make 10, that's phenomenal. But so far it looks like it's going to open green this morning. I would have preferred it down right around 30 cents, maybe a fake crack of 30 and hold for an afternoon, and then buy the first green day coming off of that. But looks like they probably had a PR. OPTT. 58 minutes ago, they signed reseller agreement with Survey Equipment Services for the USA. Might as well be Chinese. I don't know what that means. But yeah, holding up pre-market here. I've had some success on first screen days, even though they're gapping up a little bit. As long as the volume's there, they have news, there is going to be some sort of eyes and tension. It just really comes down to how I played it. I think it was Kit. Let me see. I did quite well on this first green day here, on a similar situation where it opened significantly higher than the previous day's close, and instead of putting it off my watch list, I paid attention to it because it had good volume, ended up pulling back, holding a really nice base, and going on a morning spike. There was another one recently that did something like that. But basically what I'm saying is just not going to completely shut it down this morning, but I will be more patient. If it just morning spikes out of the gate, this is not one where I'm willing to just buy right out of the gate, because there is no red-green trigger. We are, right around yesterday's highs right now. So maybe some sort of hold green and support hold over the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the day, and maybe we push higher. But there's just not a lot of range here. Like if a 10-cent move to 50 cents from where we're at right now would be, up there near the breakout level. Not all the way up there, but up near previous resistance. It is possible. There is some potential here. This isn't too far gone either, where I would say this has no chance of breaking out again. So this could just be the start of it curling back and getting up close to those 60-cent area. But that's too early to predict that. So we'll be keeping an eye on OPTT this morning. Someone said KTRA as well. Yeah, nice gap up there into the 30s. Just kind of floated up kind of randomly right in here on Friday, and so any chance of an early entry was kind of gone there. But it's setting up really nicely, kind of in this really wide range from like 20 cents to 40 cents, and we're kind of mid-range right now towards the higher end. Either looking to attack it on a day that I think it has to work based off volume and being up near this 35 to 37 area for the potential breakout over 42, or continue to watch it. Maybe it pulls back and I have another chance to get early entry, but we'll just kind of sit back and let this one play out until it becomes more obvious. What the heck? Someone says buy and hold TSM. Okay, what is your idea? No, for me. Pretty simple. Not what I do, not a chart that I trade. This is a Taiwan semiconductor. Yeah, it's a breakout of this 185, but it does the same volume every day. This is probably a large cap, not a small cap penny stock that I'm looking to trade and take advantage of momentum. This is just an uptrending stock. If we were buying and holding from the beginning of this year, you're pretty happy, but this is not anything what we talk about or teach in terms of small cap penny stocks. This is just a good breakout on a much bigger company that is trading pretty much the same volume every single day. It's not like most of the stuff we see, like the gappers this morning, where they pop up out of nowhere on big volume because they have some PR, some new recent reverse split, whatever it is, and they are in play for a short period of time, and we're looking for predictable price movements to take advantage of big moves in short periods of time. That is not this, so I will leave that one alone. But all right, it is 9:16. We did a full show by myself, and I went over. So that is awesome. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your questions. Let's all kick off this week in July with a bang. Sit back, be patient, be disciplined, wait for your setups to come. And I hope, more than anything, that you have a fantastic week. I hope you have a fantastic day. We'll be live again tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. for another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. I'm Don Master Mateo with Clover Trading. I hope you all have a phenomenal